Hello, everybody. Welcome to this live today. So we are here now. So we are here to have this live today. Just a moment. We have some technical issues. Okay. So welcome everybody again. We're having some technical issues here. So hope now it's okay. Welcome everybody. We are here today to have this live streaming to talk about the student chapters in the creation of student chapters in the IEEE. So we are representing, this is an event from IEEE Industrial Electronics Society. This is mainly targeted to students, but all members of IEEE might be interested in seeing what we are going to discuss today. So we are in 6 persons here right now. I am Professor Marco Vermeister from the Federal University of Technology in Parana. And with me, I have Professor Leandro Becker from the Federal University of Santa Catarina, also member of IEEE and Industrial Electronics Society. We have our guest, Miss Asma Basly, which is an alumni in the Tunisia section from IEEE. And we have also 3 Brazilian students to represent the main audience of what we intend for this live. We have, first I will come from the north to the south part of Brazil. Then I will introduce you Gabriel Borges, that is a student from the Federal University of Rio Grande do Norte. He is the chair of the brandly new Student Branch Chapter in IEEE. So then going further, we have also with us Carlos Eduardo Zanon, which is from my university, the Federal University of Technology in Parana. Also, we are aspiring to create the IEEE chapter here as well. And last but not the least, Isaías Bessa, which is a student in Federal University of Santa Catarina, is also aspiring to have an IEEE chapter there. So welcome everybody that is seeing us online in YouTube. Without too much delays, I will just quickly pass the word to Professor Leandro Becker to give some words, and then we start with Asma talking about my main theme of this live. Leandro.
Hello, everyone. Boa tarde, pessoal. It's a great pleasure to be here on this event. It's kind of first of many, hopefully, events promoted by IEEE IES. As the chair of the IES Committee Brazil, I welcome everybody, especially our main guest, Asma Basly from Tunisia. It's a great pleasure. And also our students here, Isaías, Carlos, and Gabriel. Thank you for joining us, and also for Professor Vermaster for organizing the event. It will be a great pleasure, and hopefully we'll have a very nice afternoon of discussions.
Thank you, Leandro. So then I will pass the word to Asma, and she can start to speak about the very successful case of Tunisia in creating and developing the student branch chapters. Please, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you so much. Hello, everyone. I'm very excited to be here today. It's really a pleasure collaborating again after meeting each other, Mr. Marco and Leandro at Tunisia in the EOS SYP. So I guess let me share my screen to start presenting.
Okay, I will start.
Awesome. You can see my screen, right? Awesome. So hello everyone, I'm very delighted to be here into the session, creating and managing successful IEEE student branches and chapters. So I'm Asma Basly, CEO and co-founder of Orb Startup, a Tunisian startup. I'm actually former IEEE ESSTHS chairwoman. I served as a secretary in the Computer Society and past chairwoman in the Robotics and Operating Society as a chair too. I'm also the former Tunisian SYP vice chair, graduated from the USSCHS, and I'm currently a Region 8 Computer Society student representative for the Area 6. So to start, I want to give you a little history. This is the Higher School of Science and Technology of Hammam Sousse. And in my first years in my bachelor degree, which were in the 2020, like many of you students, our first year university was kind of overwhelming because we have new classes, no guidance, and very little structure or resources to help us connect theory to practice. And especially in Tunisia, resources and the environment of the university were kind of limited. So when I arrived at this university, I always asked, why don't we have a hub or a community where I can build, innovate, create ideas, and make mistakes, and especially grow from them? And then at that time, I actually remembered one of my friends that I met in the high school, and he told me about this amazing student club, which is the IEEE. And at that time, they were just starting out, only 6 executive committee members. But the more I looked into the IEEE, the more overwhelmed I felt actually. There was like too much information, too many acronyms, and I wasn't sure where to start. However, the small team of 6 people was where it all began actually. It wasn't glamorous and it wasn't big, but it was full of passion, and that was enough for me to actually motivate me to get into the IEEE.
So it seems we had some technical issues. Let me see if I can bring Asma again.
While we were trying to understand how big the IEEE was, we got to know this Tunisian SYP thing. And it was a 3 days Congress where universities from across Tunisia comes to represent their yearly work and compete in the student branch chapters challenges. For example, we have the Computer Society having a challenge to you will find different universities participating in these challenges. And we showed actually a real interest in this Tunisian SYP, and not just as attendees, but we wanted to actually to contribute and compute and compete and to challenge ourselves in the next editions. In the next edition, however, we felt underestimated. Like people looked at us as newbies, and they thought only big established universities could win these competitions at these levels. And to be honest, they were kind of true, because at that point you need to have a um, big team members to actually create projects and to pitch those projects to win those competitions. But to be honest, instead of this thing stopping us, it actually motivated us to give more and to do more. And what we did is, from there, actually everything started moving fast, and we came back motivated from the Tunisian SYP. We set our 5-year vision. I'm insisting about this 5-year vision because when we went into the IEEE student branch and student branch chapters, we figured that the IEEE is not just a university club. If we look at it as a small company thing that we wanted to put our work into it as the start of the 5-year vision, and then dividing that 5-year into a 1-year vision for each mandate, we could actually make an impact and we could actually grow faster. So what we did is, by May, at that moment, we opened around 4 chapter student branches chapters. We had like the Computer Society, the Power and Energy Society, the Industrial Society. It was all based on like the needs of our universities and the courses that we had. And we spent the full summer focused internally to work on the student branch, meaning that we planned our agenda to the end of for the end of the year, and we plan to how we're gonna recruit members and how we're gonna do for the funding and all of those details. And then we planned for September, October, November, and December events. And of course, this wasn't easy. We faced real challenges. For us at first, the main thing that we wanted to do is to make the IEEE Student Branch and Student Branch Chapters a hub for projects. But then we didn't know how to do these projects, so we needed actually training and mentorship. And then if we needed training and mentorship, we wanted to compete in competitions, whether it was like city competition or international competitions. But if we're gonna compete in these competitions, we actually needed funding. Taking the example, if I wanted to do a robotics competition, I really needed the hardware component for that. And besides funding, who is going to do all of this if you don't have enough members? So we started to be in this kind of loop that never ends of challenges, and everything drags another thing. But I'm giving you the solution for each part that we focused on and implemented. When it comes to the members, for example, we built activities around the students' interest, meaning that why would I create even an event of power and energy when there's no member or student member is interested in knowing that, or is willing to invest time in that? So what we did is we shifted and we started like inviting students to put like creating forms to know the interests of the students and to guide the creation of the events based on that interest. And we actually made the participation fun and rewarding. Fun fact that we were very common in the university, that's in our university, that we had free food whenever we had an event. So people will be coming for the free food, then they'll actually be staying for the event itself. And it was very tricky way to bring more students, but it eventually paid off. And then for the rewarding system, what we did is we had this scoring system that we implemented into the student branch, that whenever a member did a small task, whether it was a booth or helped in logistically an event, they had this type of points. And eventually we had the scoring system based on like the most active members. And the highest scores of those members would take discounts, membership discounts or event discounts. And it actually worked pretty well. So you find the full committee is like giving a lot of energy and helping a lot in the creation of the events or in any type of organization. And for the projects as well, we focus on what the members wanted to learn specifically, not just random projects. For my best part, which is the training and the mentorship, we collaborated with other universities and reached out to alumni of those universities. And this one was the best part of my mandate, because I actually learned a lot from it when I collaborated with other universities, meaning that they actually helped me and guided us of what to do and what not to do, the tips and tricks into the IEEE. And finally, for the fundings, which we had a lot of problems with it, is we applied for the IEEE grants and sought for sponsors that eventually they rejected us on many times, but we never stopped, like always like applying and going to those sponsors. And just to show you that this is our office, where you can see in behind that we had this agenda that we need to put like a monthly agenda of the events or a yearly agenda of the events just to stick. It was like a small hub of, if you chose a weekend to do an event or you chose a weekend to do this training, you need to keep up with that. And we have each other to always like remind each other about the responsibility that we have. As well as we use this office in our university, not just for like meetings and general assemblies, but also for like making surprises and enjoying ourselves and maybe playing together in that too. And by applying all of what I said, we actually eventually recruited around 250 students. And we did this by spending the full month of September, which is the first month where the education starts, is doing a daily basis of booth recruiting. And we actually went to neighbors universities to motivate them to open their own student branch chapters. And it was amazing to see the energy, to see the full energy. We actually delivered more than 100 training and workshops based on the strategy that we put and based on the motivation that we put into the members, motivating them to work and help us into creating these events. And finally, another milestone is achieved, which is the Tunisian SYP 9th edition, and we became finalists, meaning that after only 1 year and a half of the student branch creation, we've been the third. We took the third place around like 40 other Tunisian university. Yeah. However, all of this wouldn't been happening without the best practices that I mentioned earlier, and now I want to recommend doing is setting the vision, meaning that you cannot start a student branch chapter or a student branch without setting a full vision. And I want to emphasize on this because each country, each city has their own vision, and especially each university has its own vision, and the vision will be created based on the student and what impact they want to do in their community. So you could see that my vision wouldn't be aligned to your vision. However, that's not the problem. The problem is there's no problem. It's you just, if you will be a leader, you need to put a vision so all the team would believe in that. And to be honest, I highly emphasize about getting involved early, meaning that just don't pay for the membership, just really volunteer. And if you find anything missing in the community or anything like lacking the community or the university that you want to be in, don't wait for it. Just bring that and bring what's missing and try to change it. And the most important thing is don't be afraid to make mistakes. And actually, the IEEE is one of the best places to make mistakes because you won't be judged and you will be backed with a good community that would also always help you and guide you through it. And by saying that, when you pass it on to the next generation, to the next mandate, you would be you would be personally learned from those mistakes. So when you will be passing all of the work of that year to the next generation, you would be helping them and guiding them of the things to what to avoid doing. And of course, you need to always ask for help. The community of IEEE is, to be honest, I've been like involved in different communities, but the most um, community that I feel like I belong to it as a family is the IEEE, because whenever I ask for help or I ask about any type of recommendation, I would always find people around the world would always help me doing that. So use that for your advantage and apply for everything, meaning that competition, challenges, grants, funds, anything you find, I highly recommend students and student branch chapters to apply for it. Even if you get rejected, that's fine. And even if you get accepted, that's even better because you're gonna plan based on, for example, the competition that you will be working on next. So for me in 2022, everything is crystallized. We set our vision, defined our structure, and I took the role of the chairwoman of the student branch. And it was honestly a period where we had so much fun, yet we were so tired because we were working on a daily basis. And it was a period where too many days with little sleep, but it showed us actually what possible when we believed in the vision. And with saying that, we couldn't grow this fast without having a strategy and applying that strategy to students. And this application of the strategy, it's always about the leader that it's in the community, as in if you are the chair or you're like you belong to the executive committee, it's on you to motivate your members and to bring them with you into this vision. And yeah, I highly recommend to look bigger, to look at the bigger impact, meaning that it might be tiring and it might be super tiring at a certain point, but then if you remember the impact that you're gonna do to the full environment and the full community, at a certain point it would be all worth it. And for me, it actually paid it off. Like hard work pays off. And here the last edition, which is the IEEE Tunisian SYP 10th edition, where I pitched me in Bassam, and we actually got the first place alongside with a lot of other achievements and rewards. And this one, honestly, it wasn't only about me. This is not my personal work. It was a teamwork, and if I hadn't this team, we won't be able to do what we did in the past like 2 years, that's why I would say that the team is everything. And like the IEEE made me learn how to manage full teams and how to align teams in believing in one vision, which is pretty hard. But then if you align it to what you want to do specifically, you would make it happen. And what I say is always give to the community, meaning that you will get mentorship and training. So once you get that and once you're ready to give back to the community, do it. And I would end this by saying the sky is the limit, meaning that it's always about the mindset and the environment that you live in. If you surround yourself with people that dream big and want to achieve better and go to the best places, nothing will actually stop them. And then you have just each other to actually be responsible enough to do that. And don't forget to enjoy what you're doing. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for your attention. I'm open for any question. Your mic is
You're muted. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Asma. It's
Thank
very
you.
nice story. Therefore, I asked you to do this live with us. I will just take the opportunity that you said so many times, make mistakes. I just have to apologize because the mistakes I made in the beginning of the call. But anyway, I think that I hope I did not screw up with the live. So very nice. So we can now have some time to make questions to Asma. The audience in YouTube can write down in the comments, and I can show the question to her, and she can reply. But I like first to invite some of the students that are with us in this live, so they can start asking questions, and the other ones that are watching the live can write down the questions on the comments of the video. So who wants to start? Gabriel, maybe you.
Okay. Hi, Asma. Nice to meet you.
Hi. Thank you.
I am Gabriel. Currently, I am the Student Branch Chapter Chair, the IEEE Industrial Electronics Society at my university. Congratulations for the presentation. My question is, on the big challenges in leading student groups is keeping volunteers engaged and active. Which activities do you consider most important to keep members close and united as a real community?
Yeah, thank you. That's a good question, actually. So first of all, we need to all understand that what we're doing is volunteering and no one is paying us. So we always appreciate the efforts that's putting into the creation and organization of every event. And when members will feel appreciated with that, they would understand that we are all the same, just volunteering. And what we want to change is something in this environment. For example, if you have a problem, we're all in this problem to fix it together. So that's one important thing. And then the second thing is, from the activities that I would do to keep my members engaging, is actually understanding what they want. Like you cannot like create events or training or mentorship into fields or some stuff they're not interested in it. So at first we need to understand what are their needs and what do they want to learn, and then based on that you need to ask yourself too, what do you want to learn, because you're one of the members too. And based on that you will align the events and everything. And sometimes you'll be just doing things that doesn't align, and that's fine, because you will understand if you do things that are not aligned, you won't have anyone attending. And then you will understand that, why am I doing this thing when no one is interested? So then you're going to shift your perspective into creating something that interests the members. And then you could just send like interest forms, or like just asking them, like in interviewing them and all. Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
So maybe someone else want to ask some question, Carlos Eduardo or Isaías?
I'll take it. Here in our university, we have a lot of teams for different competitions, different series. How do you see the role of student chapters in like integrating these people? What can we do to attract people that are already in the teams into joining a student chapter? What do they bring to the table? What can we bring to the table for them as well?
Okay, that's cool. Because like for giving the example in my university, we had like this robotics, also clubs, like different groups and everything. But what we did is, first of all, it was the passion and the energy, because that would make you different from anyone else. Second of all, is about and it's just like a something psychology a bit, is understanding what they really want, and then when you try to recruit them, and then you say that you have this exact same thing, with emphasizing on the standardization of the IEEE and the international things of the IEEE, and then they will be actually convinced by that. And then maybe in the IEEE, it's easier for us to get the funding compared to other groups, because we have the grants and the IEEE. So what I did usually, because in Tunisia we have this like focusing on a bigger funding problem, is we always try to make it easier for everyone that money is not the problem, it's just like the mindset, and then we will bring money throughout like the creation of like throughout the engagement of the people, and it was like that kind of thing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I will take the opportunity just to take a question from the audience in YouTube, so we will put it online. So Beatriz asked, what was the most difficult part in starting a chapter?
Okay, that's a good point, because like the team is the most important thing and the most difficult part of starting a chapter, because the chair and the leader, like the chair, like the full team is like the leading team for the full society, like the student branch society. And to be honest, if they're not aligned, it's gonna be challenging a bit. And this is, I see it in my point of view, it's always about the chair to always make it easier for the full team to get along and work together. But it's the most difficult part, because like if the team is aligned, everything would be easier, everyone would be aligned with each other. And setting up the team, for us, we were kind of lucky, because we were the people that you've seen in the pictures, we lived in the same environment, so we knew each other. So there's some people that we knew each other from middle school and from primary school, so we kind of like knew each other from kindergarten, which made it easier for us, because we're used to working to each other, we're used to working with each other. But then when it comes to more international universities, it's quite harder to make different personality get along into working some stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, very nice. So I have also another question from the audience, from Janisley Oliveira. What initiatives left the most lasting impact on your student chapter?
Honestly, the Tunisian SYP, one of like the triggering initiatives, because when we went to the GSYP, a lot of big universities names were mocking us and they didn't know us. So it was like just triggering to prove them wrong and to prove them that we can make it. So the Tunisian SYP, one of the biggest like lasting impact in the student branch. However, like to be honest, it's like every student chapter had their own impact, in the sense of, for example, if you take it for the robotics, we'd love to organize the largest robotics competitions in our city, and eventually we did that, and it was amazing. So it's like depending on each chapter that they had this impactful for their small community. Yeah.
Okay, very nice. So do we have other questions from us here inside the call, Gabriel or maybe Isaías?
I would like to do one question. So nice to meet you, Asma. So I belong to a chapter started recently, 2 months ago. Yeah. So I would like enjoy the question of Beatriz. I think what can you say for like the first type is for the first steps of a chapter that starts now, for example.
Okay. So the first steps, like if you put a chapter now, is to put like a 1-year goal or a 1-year vision. It's not about just to create an event. It's about, I want this chapter to actually, for example, if members would be recruited, to actually work in projects, and that would be amazing for them in their career. And then you put like at least bullet points of the vision that you want to have in that chapter. And then the first thing is you find people motivated enough, or at least you motivate them to join you into this vision and into believing in this vision and helping you, because you can never do something alone. It's always about the team being there for you. And then after finalizing the team is actually the strategic planning of how to reach member, how to recruit member, what are the tools that we can do to bring them. And it's all based in the universities. You could use ads, you could use like different types, emailing, spamming, you could just like not be limited in anything. And it's always like about like the first vision that you put. So that's why I always emphasize on that one.
Thanks so much, Agar.
Very nice. I like to just to show some impressions from the audience. So first comment is from Leonardo. He had the chance to be in Tunisia in last August in SIP Congress, and he says that he was impressed by the level of dedication and how the things happen there, and how the people, Asma and the colleagues, managed to organize all the things. This is very nice.
Thank you.
Other nice comment is about IES from Tunisia. He just said that Asma is the best leader, but more importantly, a great friend of his. And he also mentioned that he liked the community that they created together with friends, and that's all happened. I think. Then I take the opportunity also to make a question. So you talk a lot about building the community, building it with friends, and try to grow friendship. So this seems to be a very close relationship between the people that are in the university. So the question is, how can you join, or how can you bring these other persons to be family or this close circle? Do you have some tips on that?
That's a good question, because like at first, like fun fact, that the good thing that me and my friends, we were in this IT thing, but we were in different universities. So you find them like joining our student branch, even if they were in different universities, just for us like to spend time and actually to do an impact. For example, Elias, which is, he served like a vice chair. He was like a high school friend too. And to be honest, it's true that we're friends, but then if we work, we let our friendships aside. But then if you look at it after that, we see like we've built this kind of friendship of trust. Because if you already delivered one of the biggest events, you feel like these people can be trusted and they are very responsible, and you guys are just aligned. And a lot of people that the IEEE brought us together, that we weren't like friends at first, but then when we worked under pressure on different levels of events, and we managed to deal with each other with respect and everything while like being so pressured, it felt like very good to have that as friends, because like we respected each other and we respected each other's boundaries, and we delivered something amazing at the same time. So we were all aligned to it. So to be honest, if you're just aligned with your people, with your members to the vision, you would actually build this friendship after that. Yeah.
Oh, very nice. So we have other questions from the audience. Diane asked, what advice would you give to someone who is starting a new chapter like IES, but lacks the technical knowledge of the area?
Yeah, that's totally fine, because I had to be the chair of the Robotics Society, and I had nothing to do with robotics. Like I had nothing. I only did computer science, but I actually love to do that. And what I generally advise doing is, first of all, ask for mentors and training, in the sense of like see previous people that like hold the position as chair in the EOS, and understand what they did in that year, and get to know like what did they implemented in their student branch chapter. And don't let it like you're not supposed to know everything when you get to the IEEE. You're supposed to learn from it, to be honest. So not having the technical background is not a problem because you're not there to just do technical like workshops. You can bring people to deliver technical workshops. It's just about you actually being passionate about doing something to your environment.
Okay, very nice. Other question is from Kawan Medeiros. From your experience, which activities had the greatest impact at your university and attracted more students?
To be honest, the IEEE Extreme was one of the best recruiting events ever. We had like what we did is we recruited a lot of people. Like when a lot of students see us competing with a 24-hour competition, they would be like more excited of us. What are we doing and what competition are we solving? And generally, when the IEEE Extreme week comes in, we start like posting it a lot in the social media and in our university. So it's like a common event in the university, and everyone would know that, and everyone, you would see like the university's library closed just for us. So everyone would be question, what's this? And then it's kind of open because we let people come into the library and see us like coding and spending like the night there. And we also, like, the trick is we also delivered free food, so you'd find a lot of people coming for the free food and actually enjoying what we did. So they just stay in and they'd be like asking what to do to get involved in the next day. Yeah.
Very nice. So I have also other impressions from the community. I will just put it from Paulo. He congratulates Asma, and he was also in Tunisia, and he thought that the event was very motivating for everyone.
Thank you so much, Paulo.
The other impression is from Gabriel Salvati. He says that he's from the IEEE chapter in Federal University of Santa Maria, and the ideas we had experienced in Tunisia are inspiring us here. So this also kind of follow up from the CEEP Congress in Tunisia. Personally, I was there as well. I found it very nice activities, and I was very impressed when I learned about the case of Tunisia. This was one thing that we spoke in person there, but I will make the question here. So one of the things that is kind of pushing also the success of the chapter is doing the activities, and sometimes for the activities you need to have some funding, some money to do that. So can you give us some tips on how to how to find it? I know.
Yeah.
This is a $1 million question.
I'm gonna give you a fun fact. Actually, when we started the student branch, we actually invested in the student branch. So we put our money pocket into the like to just invest into doing the first events in the IEEE to make us very like common. So at first we had like nothing and we knew nothing about it. But then when we understood like the trick about, if, for example, I don't know if you guys know, but if you start a new student branch chapter, you can always apply for a grant of the student branch chapter creation, which is usually depending on the on the type of the chapter. For example, if it's robotics and society, it could be like up to 500 USD. The EUS too, it gives like around, I guess, 200 like by the creation of like whatever the chapter is created. At first you could apply always to get the grant, and you can have that funding. But then, to be honest, it's always to check your emails. Usually I use filters about funding, grants, and I just like try to extract all the links and try to see if it's there, if they are aligned with what we're doing or in the project. And the easiest way to do it is just to email them about, hey, and we are interested about doing this and that, and we like this type of funding, can you help us? And 99% they would help you, because generally they don't receive like emails of funding. In this trick, we knew it, like we know it in Tunisia, so most of us would be spamming them from the Tunisia section, asking always for like funds. So we got the rejection pretty much most of the time. But if it's kind of from a different country or a different region, it would be easier for all of you. Yeah.
Okay, very nice. So any one of the students here have other questions to Asma? Gabriel, Carlos, or Isaias? You are mute.
Yeah, I forgot to press the button.
I've seen some chapters do selection processes for gathering people. How does that work in your opinion? What is the path to once we attract an audience? How do we bring in people, or we just leave the door open? What works best in that case?
I'm against doing selection process because IEEE is all open for everyone. So what I do is just like I try to motivate as much people as I can so they can come. So we don't do like selection process, even though we do, for example, after the integration day, we do some interviews. We spend like each one of the officers will have like a 2 hour a day to do an interview, like a 50-minute interview. A 15-minute interview to just understand the members and their expectations in the student branch chapter, and we take notes for that. So when we try to update the vision, we know the interest of the students by the start of the year. That's what we do. So when we start creating events, we already have this database that we got by the integration day of their interest. And to be honest, like doing like I don't know, maybe a lot of team buildings. Yeah, I highly recommend doing team buildings before starting any technical events, because in the team buildings you would actually understand the team's expectations more, and you would understand what they want more and what they want to like emphasize and enhance in themselves, and then you could just guide it like step by step into the next months, upcoming months.
Nice. Another question from here?
Hi, Asma. So once
Hi.
again, thank you very much for sharing your experience with us. And let me ask you this. Do you think getting involved with IEEE as a student tends more towards developing technical skills or more for developing soft skills?
To be honest, it goes like both. As in, if you are taking leadership position, it's gonna be more soft skills. But then, if you implement a rule to yourself that whenever I do, there's something technical, I would deliver something technical too. It's like depending on the person. But for me personally, it helped me doing both. It helped me doing the soft skills, and I found like this. To be honest, now I am like I have a startup in Tunisia, and if I didn't have the experience in the IEEE, I wouldn't be managing what I'm doing in the startup, because it made it easier for me technically to understand how the world works and how projects works and how the management of the team works. And I had the privilege to do mistakes in the IEEE. So when I opened something legally on my name, I wouldn't have that privilege to do mistakes as I am. And then when it comes to technically, for example, we had this Tunisian SYP and other like technical challenges. So we had like the last 2 months to focus to put all of our energy doing technical stuff and technical projects. So it was like just a balance, but it's always about the member to choose what path. But generally, you could also implement both of the paths. Like yeah.
Sounds excellent. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I would like to say thank you for this amazing talk, and honestly, even the energy coming from Brazil is amazing. And so that you know, we're like the Tunisian community is always here for any advice, for any mentorship, for any training, any part of it, because like everyone is else there for us in the IEEE, we're there for other people too. So don't like feel shy to contact people from Tunisia or any people like from the IEEE in general. And yeah, that's actually the power of the IEEE community worldwide.
Very nice. So I like to make a kind of tricky question, because right now we always talk about good things. I want to give a question about what can be wrong. So if you can point out what were the most, or not the most, but the remarkable difficulties that you had in this path, because of course you had a lot of them.
Yeah. You know, the meme of work-life balance, it didn't exist at a certain point. When I was a chair, I had no, like, they asked me, how am I doing with the studies? And the IEEE was like, I'm not balancing that. I cannot balance that. But what I did is I found like kind of studies kind of easy. So I put a lot of efforts in the IEEE, and then it was like a me thing that I eventually did to support myself through the studies, but I put more efforts into the IEEE than my studies. But then when I see the events that I'm doing, technically and career-wise, the IEEE was more motivating than the studies that I'm doing. That one thing, and then you have the sleepless night. At a certain point, when you have these events, you'll be like having 3 hours of sleep, and we're enjoying that. We like had so much pressure before like 2 weeks of the event, so much pressure, and we'll be sleeping 2 hours, and we had like this community of us supporting each other who's sleeping more, and you know that. Those were kind of challenging. And to be honest, the university, we had a lot of problems with the universities when it come to getting like classes to do the workshops, or getting the library, or staying like to late night, or staying 24-hour in the library. We had a lot of problems with the university administration, but we didn't keep them, because like, for example, what I did, whenever I have a problem, I wouldn't like say it to the full members. I would only keep it like enclosed, so we could manage it quickly and we could find solution quickly, and then I wouldn't bother, for example, members to stress out about the other problems, and it would be nicer, but then it would put more pressure on yourself and on your team. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. So, what was the role of the professors helping you in the chapters? Because of course you need help from them, right? So
our supervisor.
Can you talk about the experience of how that worked?
Mr. Lotfi, our supervisor, he was the first, like the best supporter ever. Whenever we have this like issue with the administration, we go to him and he fixes it. Like, he was always supporting us. Like, he was the best, and he actually got the best like supervisor in the Region 8 like 2 years ago. He was so supportive. Actually, sometimes he would give us like money to just like fund the events. Like, he was the best supporter. I don't know how to explain it, but whenever we have this problem with the administration, or like problem is not up to us, we always get to him and call him, and he was always just trying to figure out things, and actually finding us collaborations, finding us sponsors. So he wasn't like physically always in the office with us, but he was like physically, like whenever we want to him, we go to his office and he just like fix everything for us. So yeah, to be honest, having like the student branch and new supervisor is a big thing, because at a certain point we didn't like, we were like a 1 year 1 year student branch, so we didn't have supervisors for the chapter, so he would actually put himself supervising the chapters too, and it was like too much for him, but he actually made it possible until like we find other professors to help us being their supervisor. But yeah, professors, to be honest, they need to actually trust the vision of the students and support them, because if you actually support them, you would see wonders in that, and you would help them out. Yeah.
Nice. So, do we have other questions from the students here? Not yet, so then I will make another question. So, talking again about the not so easy things to solve, you mentioned about the amount of effort that you have to put in the chapter, and sometimes you had to I would not say skip, but not put too much effort in the studies.
Yeah.
Can you explain, or can you tell us how is your feeling about doing this? Is it worthy? Not?
Yeah.
Did it have impact in your course or something like that?
It was actually worth it, but like, we didn't have, so to be fair, we had like at least a bit of work balance, which meaning like before 1 week of like exams, we stopped all activities and we forced students to go study. So we did at least put like studies as an important thing. But like for us officers, we'd like, because we always had the responsibilities, so we always keep pushing, even while like having like exams. But for the members and everyone else, we had like this 2 weeks like break before exams, and we always take that 2 week break for everyone, like to just take a break and focus on the lessons. And I usually, in that 2 weeks, I usually like just like accelerate my courses, and I end up like I literally ended up like from the top of in my university. So as I said, when I aligned like the vision and the work in the IEEE and like my studies into the technical stuff in the IEEE, I was be like going to an event that it's actually my course. So even if I skip the course, I'm learning that through the event. But I don't usually skip courses. It's just like I don't recommend doing that. Don't do that. If you don't skip courses. So yeah.
Yeah, very nice. So we all know, everybody that already organized some conference or something like that knows that the amount of effort is big, and sometimes it takes some of your free time, and you need passion to do it, because otherwise it will not happen. So I have another question from the audience, from Janice Lay. I will just put it here. Okay. What strategies helped you rebuild the team when motivation or participation dropped?
Okay, so basically we know that participation would be dropping in the summer because usually people like just go back to like they have like the internships or anything. So what we did, because we're having this first year and we're not expecting people in the first year to have experience, is we actually did internship inside of the student branch. So what we did is we put projects that we wanted to see them build in the student branch, meaning that recruiting platforms or the website of the student branch chapter and the website of the student branch itself. And we put those as small projects as internships for like the people in the first year that they wouldn't be recruited in Tunisia will still be working with us through the summer. But then another strategy that we did is that we expected that we would have less engagement in the summer, so we keep working internally, and we do not include members. We keep working internally in the sense of getting prepared by the start of like the new educational semester, and getting prepared to the events and what are like the big highlights of this year that we need to attend to, or the projects and competitions that we see fit for the community. And we had the scoring system, as I said, is like we did like this big like table of the scoring system. If you did this, you get a point. If you did this, you get a point. You know, like if you help in bringing a sponsor, if you help in bringing and recruiting people, we did like this scoring system and reward system that we actually by the end of the year we would having people sending reports of what they did, and then recalculating the scores, and then we giving them discounts into like events or discounts into the memberships. So it actually kept the engagement going because they had like the scoring system and they wanted to be in the highest like places. So yeah, that one is pretty much great, because if you know what they are looking for as students, for example, their biggest problem is having um, access to a certain event or a certain library or a paper or something, and you manage to get that for them as a reward, it would be very engaging for all of the students.
Very nice. So we are coming also almost at the end of this live. We are with 53 minutes. So I will go to the finalization of the live. So Asma, do you have any final thoughts to share with us?
It's just thank you so much for the opportunity, and I hope I motivated all of you. I always say the sky is the limit, meaning that if you surround yourself with people that are aligned with the same vision, you would be in better places. And change starts from with you. I'm not in a podcast that those seems like, you know, like you can do it and all of that, but it's kind of true. If it starts from within you, you could like change even like the community that you will be building. And of course, if you need anything, you have my contact and you can reach me out whenever.
Yeah, thank you very much. Leandro, do you have some final thoughts?
Yeah, sure. Just one, let's say, not a question, but I'd like Asma to just talk a little bit about the aspect. You've been talking a lot about the local aspect, right? Building the family, building a local team. But IEEE is an international organization. And so how do you make like family getting the feel that does not belong just to your own space, but belonging to the world.
Yeah. After you manage to do your local community, you'll be getting used to understanding what IEEE brings internationally. And then you will find like different communities worldwide and different events. And then you have like the conferences where if you want to do some research on your own after you graduated, you could find the biggest community of the IEEE. But for me, like personally, when I went to the student young professionals in the Region 8, it happened like 2 years ago in Grenoble, France. It was one of the best experiences because it actually made me realize how big the community is. And those people, I met them again and again in international conferences and international congresses. And it's a thing that if you make like contacts and network once in the IEEE, there's some people you will always meet them again, and you will always feel happy to meet them again from one year to 1 year. And I hope next year I find you in the EOS SYP again. And from that, it actually builds like a community. And to be honest, we used to do a lot of collaboration internationally, not only locally with the student branch, with the Asia section and the Asia region, and even like the France section and all. And you feel like you're surrounded with good people aligned on the same mindset, aligned on the same vision, and it's not doesn't like stay just into your own section. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you very much once again, Asma.
Thank you.
All the best.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure.
Okay, so then it's my time to thank Asma. It was really a pleasure. I knew that the live would be very nice, very inspiring ideas, and learning about, as I said at the beginning, learning about the Tunisia case for me was wow. You did so much things in there. You grow very fast, and congratulations for that. And I hope that we can learn from the example and do the same here in Brazil. So thank you very much for being with us today. I also want to thank the audience in YouTube that also will probably watch the video afterwards. And I will finish the live, but before I stop transmitting, I like to just show you one picture with one slide with a QR code that we built a formula to the audience to put the impressions of the live. So we wanted to learn what you think, what was best, what was not that nice, and please fill down the formula. So I will just remove all of us from the stage right now and just show the image, and that's it. Thank you very much for everybody for watching and for being here.